Yo, what's good? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the Denver Broncos are getting desperate, man. Let's check this out.
Who would you like to see take a huge swing and trade up to get the Diors? The Broncos, who sit at 12.
I've been hearing a lot of rumors about Broncos possibly trading up in the draft for JJ McCarthy, my nigga. Like I'm gonna say this right now, one time and one time only, bro. I don't think JJ McCarthy's a first round pick, bro. For one reason, well, he didn't throw a lot in college, so there's not a lot of tape on him of throwing the fucking football consistently, and he's not as good as some of you guys, you Michigan fans, think he is, bro. He's not. I feel like he might be another Zach Wilson. If I'm being totally honest with you, bro. I'm being totally honest with you.
But the Denver Broncos actually have a plan, and after sitting with it and looking over what they're doing, the plan kind of makes sense, but at the same time is very comical if you think about it. However, there's one mistake that they can make that could ruin everything for this rebuilding Broncos team. Before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. We're currently racing my basketball channel, The Flight Mike, to 1 million subscribers. They currently have a little bit of a lead over us, but I think we're gonna end up winning. Now that we get all that out of the way, look right over here. You'll see all of these wonderful and thank you, everybody. The Denver Broncos have been a caricature of a football team over the past couple of years, going all in the summer of 2022 on Russell Wilson, which easily became one of the
dumbest shit ever.
NFL history. The Broncos,
I think the worst trade in NFL history to the Deshaun Watson trade on me, bro.
Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, Charles Cross, Boyan Mafe, Tyreek Smith, Devin Witherspoon, and Derek Hall for Russell Wilson. They were so convinced that this was the right move for the franchise that they signed Russell Wilson to a $260 million contract when he had 2 years remaining on his deal. And if they had kept him, then this contract would have actually aged pretty well. But the thing is, they cut him before the contract even kicked in, which allowed Russell Wilson to be able to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers on a veteran minimum contract. The Pittsburgh Steelers have two starting caliber QBs that are either on a rookie scale contract or a veteran minimum contract. Look out for Pittsburgh, because I think this is a year where they could potentially be the most competitive that they've been since the Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger era. With that being said, this is one of the worst trades in NFL history. And it's even more comical when you consider the fact that Sean Payton was essentially
not scared of the Steelers, bro. Never have been, never will be, bro.
And Sean Payton
stamp on that.
Retired from the New Orleans Saints because, well, they didn't really have much of a future. They were in salary cap hell, and he wanted to escape because he didn't want to deal with a rebuild that included a team that had no assets at all whatsoever. And essentially what he did was move on to a team that ended up being in salary cap hell, but didn't really have any assets at all whatsoever either. The Broncos have
traded Judy. They've been thinking about trading Cortland Sutton too.
Cleveland Browns for a 5th round pick and a 6th round
yeah, they
pick.
got robbed.
Jerry Judy get extended for a 3-year, $58 million contract with the Browns. And that's not to say that the Cleveland Browns historically are known for giving out good contracts. In the very beginning, I decimated.
And the thing is, Jerry Judy has not proved himself to get re-signed, bro. Like, I'm a huge Alabama fan. I love Jerry Judy, but bro has not proved himself at all so far, bro. He has been mid at best so far in his career. So I don't think that was a smart idea on the Browns' part. But as a Ravens fan, I love it. So
for this decision.
Continue to get in cap hill.
Imposed one of the craziest cap hits for a player that is not even on the roster in NFL history. $53 million against the cap.
Imagine still paying somebody that's not on your team.
At all whatsoever.
Broncos down bad, bro.
The news is, at least the Denver Broncos aren't in a situation like the Carolina Panthers, who were the worst team in the NFL this past year, but traded
my nigga Bryce dirty
pick to the Chicago Bears as a result of a decision that they made the year prior. The Broncos still have their draft picks and they have a plethora of needs. Currently, the Denver Broncos are picking at number 12, and there's a lot of directions that they can go with this particular pick. And if they make the wrong decision, it could set their franchise back by years. If you take a look at the Denver Broncos roster, the most glaring need is clearly the quarterback position, and maybe even the wide receiver position a little bit. But
maybe
the quarterback position
they need a true like wide receiver one. Cortland Sutton's nice. He's not a wide receiver one, bro. Marvin Mims is primarily a slot guy.
NFL trade deadline.
They need a true number one.
What direction do the Denver Broncos go here? Well, there's a trade that was proposed that could without a doubt ruin this team. It was a trade done in an ESPN mock draft by Matt Miller, with a lot of respect and love for Matt Miller. And I'm not saying that Matt Miller suggesting this makes him an idiot, because at the end of the day, a mock draft isn't what you should do. A mock draft is what you think is going to happen. And we like to think that every football team makes rational football decisions, but alas, that is never the case. I'm looking at you, Denver. So that being said, the proposed trade by Matt Miller here is a trade that would set the Denver Broncos back so far that I don't think they'd ever be able to recover from this. In our last video, I discussed how a massive NFL trade was about to come. And I said the primary candidate
I didn't react to that one.
In this year's NFL draft is without a doubt the Minnesota Vikings. They have the 11th pick, the 23rd pick. They still have picks in the future as well. They essentially mortgaged their later round draft picks.
Wait. So are the Vikings trying to trade up for a QB?
And the reason that they were able to do this is because their trade partner thought that there's a chance that these picks could be more valuable next year. So I can understand why a trade like this went down. And in the case of the Minnesota Vikings, it makes a lot of sense to go out and do whatever you can to trade up for a quarterback, because you can make a very legitimate argument that the right quarterback will set this team up for contention for the next 5 years. You look at the Minnesota Vikings roster and they're set at the running back position, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. They have a top 5 tight end.
Even wide receiver 3 with KJ Osborne.
Top 3 tight end. They were able to bring back Harrison Smith. Their defensive backs are decent, but they're not incredible.
They need to replace Danielle Hunter.
And there is upgrades that could be made defensively, but for the most part, there's no question about it. You get the right quarterback to come in here and get coached by Josh McCown, and also has Sam Darnold to lean on for some veteran leadership. And there's no question in my mind that over the next 4 to 5 years, Minnesota Vikings will at least have a fighting chance to compete in their division. It's a very competitive division, by the way. Now, you need to compare that situation to the Denver Broncos, in which in this mock draft, there's a proposed trade by Matt Miller that has the Denver Broncos trading up from the number 12 pick and giving up a 2025 first round pick and a 2026 first round pick to the Arizona Cardinals, trade up to number 4 overall. And with that pick, Matt Miller projects the Broncos taking Michigan quarterback JJ McCarthy.
That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. That is literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard, bro. Hold up. Let me make sure I heard that right.
To the Arizona Cardinals, trade up to
okay, so
overall, 2026, the number 12 pick, and giving up a 2025 first round pick and a 2026 first round pick.
So 2 first round picks.
Cardinals, trade up to number 4 overall, and with that pick, Matt Miller projects the Broncos taking Michigan quarterback.
So you
4 overall, and with
the Cardinals are number 4 overall pick right now. You're gonna trade up for JJ McCarthy, my nigga. Dude, if the Broncos give up 2 first round picks, trading up for JJ McCarthy, that's the dumbest thing ever. I swear, that is the dumbest thing ever. I would rather trade up the draft Michael Penix or Bo Nix even. I don't care if they're older, bro. They're way better than JJ McCarthy, bro. Real talk, bro.
Miller projects the Broncos taking Michigan quarterback JJ McCarthy.
It was like this. We are going to see a lot of phone calls, a lot of activity, because some team is going to be left out. Whether it's the Raiders or maybe it's even the Saints, someone is going to try to get to this number 4 spot. I think Sean Payton.
As we already know, Caleb Williams going number 1 overall. Jaden Daniels or Drake May going next, and like, bro, that's the top 3 QBs.
Have to give more future first rounders, which I think would be enticing to the Arizona Cardinals.
That's stupid, bro.
Back to that 12th spot in the round, still get a marquee wide receiver, can maybe get help on the defensive line later in the draft, and they would have 2 first round picks. And then I think for Denver, you got to go get that guy, because at 12 right now, You have Jarrett Stidham at quarterback, and at 12, you're hoping Bo Nix is still there. So I think if you're Denver, this is the time to be aggressive. We've all heard Arizona is willing to do what they did last year, which is take an offer that would blow them away and move back and still maybe get the player that...
Now, I want to be abundantly clear here, because I'm not the type of person that'll tell you a quarterback is going to be a definitive draft bust before he's taken a snap in the NFL.
That's the thing. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I just don't think he's worth a first round pick, bro. At least top 4 at that. Like, you're trading up for a guy who didn't throw a lot at Michigan, so you don't know what he can do in game. That we see what happened at pro days. You like that doesn't determine how good a player is. You saw that with Zach Wilson. See what happened with him. It might happen with JJ McCarthy too, bro. I just don't think you should spend a first round pick on this guy. That's what I'm saying, bro. I don't think he's gonna be a bust. I just don't think he's worth a first round pick.
The situation that quarterbacks are placed in. I've been on record multiple times saying that I don't think Mac Jones was the problem in New England. I think the fact that he had 3 wide receivers in Mike Gesicki, Devontae Parker, and Juju Smith-Schuster that were in the bottom 10 for wide receiver separation statistics, and the fact that he played behind one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL may have contributed to his demise. And although I do think there are quarterbacks that come out of the NFL draft that absolutely stink and shouldn't have gotten the opportunity
Trubisky.
I'm looking at you, Mitchell Trubisky. I think a lot of
Josh Rosen
is dictated based upon the environment he's placed in, and based
Jordan Love has been great so far. His first year starting last year because he sat behind Aaron Rodgers.
For 3 years, or Patrick Mahomes, who sat behind Alex Smith for 1 year, or Carson Palmer, who sat behind John Kitna for a year, or Dak Prescott, who sat behind Tony Romo for 4 games in the preseason. With that being said, in this particular instance, I cannot think 4 games in the preseason.
Bro, in the preseason is crazy, yo.
Of a bigger disaster in the NFL for any player than the Denver Broncos trading up to the number 4 overall pick. As a matter of fact, I don't think the Denver Broncos should be trying to trade up. I think the Denver Broncos should be doing everything in their power to trade back as many times as humanly possible. This is a team that has a huge hole at the quarterback position. I mean, currently their depth chart indicates that they have Jarrett Stidham or Ben DiNucci starting for them. Now,
hey, bro, don't shit on Ben DiNucci now, bro. Hey, XFL legend, you feel me? Don't shit on him.
For the very first time in a long time, it seems like there's a coherent plan. But the problem is, in order for this plan to be successful, the Broncos are going to have to do something that they haven't done since the end of the Peyton Manning era, and that's the fact that they need to be patient. Look, Broncos fans, I hate to break it to y'all, but the Denver Broncos are currently in the most competitive division in football, at least one of them. The
AFC North is the most competitive division, bro. We saw that last year, so let's get that straight right now.
No worse division to be in than in the same division as Patrick Mahomes. But that
I don't care if it's in the same division as Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs are really the only good team in that division.
They're also trending upwards once they draft Malik Neighbors with the 5th overall pick, which I'm assuming they will, but even if they don't, I'm sure they're going to be just fine with Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman coming through. So in this particular instance, why would you give up your 2025 first round pick and 2026 first round pick in order to move into the top 4 to select JJ McCarthy when you already have $53 million of dead cap going against you, and JJ McCarthy will only have Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton, and Philip Dorsett? Philip Dorsett's still in the NFL.
Wait, what?
Football too. Now the plan here should be to take either an edge rusher or a cornerback at the 12th overall pick. If you could trade back, even better. I'm sure there will be an opportunity to trade back if a quarterback slips to number 12, and you could convince a team that you really want to take a quarterback.
There's 6 potential first round quarterbacks in this draft, bro.
Get lucky, maybe you hit on the Russell Wilson or Dak Prescott of this year's NFL draft, or maybe you get like the next coming of Jalen Hurts. You never know if you don't try, and it's not nearly as much of an investment. You don't need to give up multiple first round picks to take a prospect in the 2nd round. Your risk becomes severely reduced as a result of that. And then the light at the end of the tunnel for the Denver Broncos isn't this offseason, but it's next offseason. Cutting Russell Wilson for the Denver Broncos was essentially the same thing as when the Chicago Bears traded Khalil Mack to the LA Chargers, and they started to shed a plethora of salary. At the time, Bears fans were really upset. Why are we trading Khalil Mack? Why are we trading Roquan Smith? Why aren't we getting first round?
Thank you for Roquan Smith, not Denver. Fuck, the Bears, shit, bro.
And look, clearing up cap space isn't going to be enough, but it's definitely a step in the right direction, and that's what the Denver Broncos are trying to do here. As it stands, they currently have $20 million in cap space this year, but that's because they have so many cap liabilities. Next year, however, things start to get a little bit better. There's way less dead cap. Russell Wilson comes off of the books, and they'll have $93.7 million in cap space. They'll probably move on from Cortland Sutton that year because they could save $14 million against the cap.
Damn.
They'd only take a $3.8 million.
Yeah, they're definitely in rebuild mode right now, man.
This team could potentially look completely different in 2026. If I'm the Denver Broncos, I'm probably taking a prospective quarterback in the second round this year, or even riding
Spencer Rattler. You know what I'm saying?
Have a horrific year. Take our QB of the future next year and try to figure out other aspects of our team at least during the draft this year. And that's the plan. By the time you find your QB of the future, maybe next year you take Quinn Ewers or Shedeur Sanders. That quarterback would be in a significantly better position.
Yeah, keeping Shedeur in Colorado would be great.
The Denver Broncos will have the cap space to build around said player, and they won't have to give up multiple first-round picks to do so. But at the same time, apparently Sean Payton thinks Bo Nix is the next coming of Drew Brees, so this could all go to shit, and I could be wrong.
I low-key can see that, bro. Just a more mobile version of Drew Brees.
What do you think the Denver Broncos should do? Aside from that, I'm Mr. Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
Hey, man. The Broncos, they got a chance to really fuck things up, bro. If they literally trade 2 future first round picks to trade up for JJ McCarthy, bro, I will laugh, bro. I'll be laughing my ass off. I will forever clown the Denver Broncos if they do some dumb shit like that. But man, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, turn on my post notifications to get notified when I drop another banger video. Without further ado, I'm out. Gang.